Hello, and welcome to the show where I guess weekend update jokes because I think it is bad and anyone, even me, could do it. Last week, I was more right than I've ever been before. I actually got quite a bit basically correct, but I'll talk about that at the end if you're interested. So watch to the end if you want to hear about that. Let's get into this week's top stories. I'm sorry if you can hear a crazy sound. I can't do anything about it. Let's start off by discussing Lifetime's KFC-sponsored short film, A Recipe for Seduction, starring Mario Lopez as Colonel Sanders. The mini-movie is set to air tomorrow at noon. Jury's still out on if this is actually real or not, and I guess we won't find out for sure until tomorrow. I, for one, am very excited for a fried chicken-themed not safe for work Sunday at noon 15-minute movie experience. My biggest question is watching Mario Lopez make sexy eyes with a gray goatee supposed to make me want to eat fried chicken? And does KFC realize that whatever chicken craving they may or may not make me have would result only in me getting Popeyes? Would you guess that Rudy Giuliani and Ellen DeGeneres have something in common besides plummeting their public image faster than the speed of light? That's right, both of them were diagnosed with COVID this week. Shockingly, both of their responses were to cough directly into their assistants' faces and blame the whole thing on black people. Universal Music Group purchased the rights to more than 600 of Bob Dylan's songs for $300 million. Because nothing is more universal than songs such as Leopard Skin Pillbox Hat. Chanel did a socially distanced fashion show this week with only one audience member. I'll give you one guess who it was. Did you guess Kristen Stewart? Because I sure didn't. For someone who has such an alternative image, it seems strange that Chanel picked Kristen Stewart as literally the only person in the entire world to view their fashion show. Wouldn't Anna Wintour or the Queen of England have been a better fit? Maybe Kristen Stewart was literally the only person willing to travel to Paris during a pandemic just to watch a bunch of skinny women walk around in skirt suits that they would never wear in real life. A humpback whale was spotted in New York Harbor near the Statue of Liberty. Really, the only reason I can see that he would be there was because he moved to the big city to give his stand-up career a chance before he gives up and moves home to MC open mic nights at Glory Days Bar and Grill. Former Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang has privately told people he plans to run for New York City mayor. With his official announcement, here's Andrew Yang. And that's when Bowen Yang comes in as Andrew Yang to do a guest spot. And he's like, yeah, I'm running for mayor, obviously, because I'm so qualified and people love me. Universal basic income. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have jointly been named Time's Person of the Year because we could never have a black woman thinking she's worth one whole person. The Kardashians have canceled their Christmas party this year for the first time since 1978. And they won't even be doing a Christmas card this year, which I know was the only thing getting everyone through the final months of 2020. The most interesting thing about this is that CNN wrote an article about it. It wasn't just People and Cosmo or whatever talking about this world-shattering news. CNN had a whole article dedicated to it. Honestly, what a shame we won't see our favorite celebrities in incredibly photoshopped pictures and fancy dresses in front of Christmas trees this year. Instead, we'll have to settle for seeing our favorite celebrities in incredibly photoshopped pictures in pajamas in front of Christmas trees. I need a co-host. And I won't have to keep switching back and forth all the time. The Washington Post talked to every single Republican in the House and Senate, and only 27 were willing to acknowledge that Biden won the election, out of 249. 2 even outright claimed that Trump had won. These are the people that we have collectively elected to represent our nation. This is like if a bunch of our legislators claimed evolution or climate change weren't real. Oh, wait. Mass vaccinations against coronavirus have started in the UK. The last time the British were this on top of a disease, they killed millions of Native Americans with smallpox. The University of Michigan versus the Ohio State football game has been canceled this year for the first time since 1918. That's right, this rivalry has been the only thing getting Midwesterners through the winter for over 100 years. Oh, guess you'll have to watch Dancing with the Stars or something instead. A large bipartisan majority in the House passed a defense bill that requires removing the names of former Confederate leaders from military bases. But don't worry, ghosts of Confederate soldiers that haunt me at night, Trump has threatened to veto it. This is exactly what James Madison was hoping would happen when he created the separation of powers. The Federal Trade Commission has accused Facebook of having a monopoly over social media, illegally stifling competition by buying up competitors Instagram and WhatsApp. This headline is just one example of how only boomers are making and regulating our laws. Get it? 'Cause young people aren't on Facebook. Joe Biden's pick for Secretary of Defense, General Lloyd Austin, will need a waiver to serve in the cabinet because he retired from the Army less than 7 years ago, a rule meant to ensure civilians control the military. Several Democrats, including Senator Elizabeth Warren, have said they will oppose a waiver. Which, fair. But do the 3 years between the amount of time he's been retired and the legally required amount of time make a significant difference? Sure, 3 years makes a huge difference during, say, puberty, or if you're 3 years older than your 15-year-old girlfriend, but I don't think 3 years is the difference between a career military man speaking as a military person and as a civilian. Disney has announced 10 new Star Wars projects, including 2 Mandalorian spin-offs and the first Star Wars movie directed by a woman, Patty Jenkins of Wonder Woman fame. I know The Mandalorian is popular, but 2 spin-offs popular? Friends only had 1 and even that failed. The only thing that's had 2 successful spin-offs in recent years is George W. Bush and his spin-offs Painting Portraits and No Longer the Worst President Ever. Apple continues to push the limits of paying just for the label with the release of AirPods Max. You too can have your own pair for $549. What makes them worth $549? Literally nothing. Buy your headphones at TJ Maxx like a regular person. Airbnb passed $100 billion on its first day of trading on the stock market, even during a pandemic that has essentially canceled all travel for the last 9 months. With more on this, here's a travel blogger or something. 80 Bryant's kid travel blogger person has already appeared on Weekend Update this season, so I was thinking not her, but maybe. I don't know. Someone talking about travel or Airbnb or something like that. Well, that's all the jokes for this week. Hope you liked the alternative blazer option, which is in fact not a blazer. But I do look like Aisha Tyler hosting Whose Line Is It Anyway, so that's pretty fun. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope they make some of these jokes. I don't know. I guess we'll see. It's very impossible for me to know if I'm gonna be close to right or not. Alright, hello. Let's talk about what I got right last week. So last week, I actually got a joke basically correct. The headline was the same, and the joke was exactly in the same vein as what they did on SNL. Let's watch. It's Christmas time at the White House, and things are confusing this year. The Christmas decorations are normal. If I'm gonna contract COVID at a party held by the president, I want to do it standing next to a haunted monochrome hellscape, not a regular Christmas tree.
Melania Trump revealed that the theme of this year's White House Christmas decorations is America the Beautiful, which is a big change from her previous theme, Eyes Wide Shut.
My 2 guesses for guests, though I didn't guess the right person who would be talking about this, because one of them I didn't really guess. I mean, I guess technically I got it right because I said someone, an actor, one of the performers on the show would be one of the guests. I didn't actually guess Pete Davidson, but I did guess basically the topic he would be talking about, which I guessed it would be the Thanksgiving spread of COVID, and he was talking about a very specific event in Staten Island, but still high COVID spread. And then the other one, Bailey Gismert, who I guessed would be in the very first episode, actually, and wasn't, but I guessed that someone would come in and talk about movies, and I was more specific than they ended up being, but still in the same vein, so that's pretty good. And a lot of the headlines were also similar. I felt like I picked way more like accurate headlines than ever before last week. And there was one other joke that I had that was very much in the spirit of one that they did. I made some Rudy Giuliani jokes. I made multiple about like him trying to get pardoned and blah blah blah. And it wasn't the same joke. Like my other one was the same joke. Different words, but same joke. This one wasn't the same joke, but it was similar in the same vein. It's funny because the whole premise of this show is that, like this show that I do, is that Weekend Update is easy and like the jokes are bad. And I really felt last week like I kind of phoned it in. Like I just, since it was the first week back in a while and I was really exhausted, I was just like doing whatever jokes came into my head, and it didn't matter if I couldn't even tell if they were good or not. And so I think maybe I need to lean into that instinct and just be really lazy, and then I'll get them correct, because that's what happened last week. And I think it just proves my point about SNL. Specifically Weekend Update. Maybe it was just a coincidence. I don't know. Who cares? Whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Alright, I guess we'll see what happens tonight. Thanks for watching. Bye.